Hello and welcome to our final round lead card coverage from the 2017 Green Mountain Championship in beautiful Vermont. We got BigSexy commentary, myself, Nate Sexton, and Jeremy Koling.
Yeah, we have Nate Doss, who's somehow separated himself from not just the field, but the other guys on the lead card just a little bit, 3 strokes ahead of Michael Johansen. And Ricky Wysocki, who is undefeated out here. Mm-hmm. And Cale Leiviska, who hasn't toured as much as he has in previous years, but proven that he's still got every bit of the talent that we've always known that he has.
Yeah, MJ as well. And I would say we don't have all the scores up on your screen, obviously, but just know that it's basically a 4-horse race here. These guys have put 5 strokes of separation between Cale and between the 5th place players.
Yeah.
So these guys are really playing at a level just like head, not quite head and shoulders, but at least a head above the field.
Right. To be 30 under at this point or more and not have the lead for 3 guys, that's pretty incredible.
It is. It really is. If you've been watching our coverage, this is the Fox Run course. Hole 1 is a par 4, 600 feet, basically straight ahead, but you've got OB all around the fairway. So the play for these guys is going to be that right-handed backhand, trying to get past the white birch tree up there, and from there you have a few options on how you're going to get to the pin.
This is a relatively easy starting hole. There's OB as there is everywhere on the entire course, and this is just a fillet shot there from Michael Johansen. But in terms of the landing zone, it's pretty wide. In terms of the trees, there aren't that many really in the way. This is when you really feel like you have to get to start off.
I feel like that too, and it seems like even when I throw the drive, what I feel like is really short, once I get up there, the upshot is still very doable. Obviously, it's nice to rip it like that. If that gets a skip.
If that gets a skip, it could be too much.
Yeah, that is too much.
And he's just kept it a little bit too wide. It appears as if he has scooted out of bounds left. Ricky was going for a big shot there, but had just a little bit too much angle.
I was expecting it to flatten out a little more when he released it with that much hyzer, but it was a fairly overstable disc, apparently.
And here's Cale Leiviska.
That looks nice and flat.
And that's the angle you want to hit the ground with. Not too much angle for the skip, but just enough to get a little bit of a forward movement there. And he set up pretty well there to have his straight look at the basket for his birdie. And he's going to make that putt.
Yeah, that was a nice putter shot from Cale. Laser straight. Nate going with a little wider approach, just 1 tree to beat.
Oh my goodness.
He doesn't quite beat it, but he will have a makeable, if kind of a bonus putt from there.
Yeah, he's going to be about 45 probably away. And MJ is throwing his banger approach about 25 feet away or so. And if he's going to putt it all like he has throughout the event, I mean, that's just go ahead and pick it up and go to the next hole.
MJ's putting has been incredible. Really, all of these guys have put together some highlight play. See if Nate can start this round off right.
Just
not quite.
Bit high and lofty. It's worth noting Nate has gone, when he taps in on this hole, and there we see MJ, a routine putt there for him. Mm-hmm. Nate will have played 55 holes now consecutively, bogey-free in the event.
And don't worry, there's only OB on 50 of those 55 holes.
Yeah, no kidding.
And 1,000 trees on the other ones.
And a great little birdie tap in there for Cale.
2 birdies, 2 pars, and we are off to the races.
MJ's reduced the lead to 2 strokes, and it's been Nate's event from the beginning, and it's always difficult to see a player go wire to wire, so MJ and the rest of the card is going to do as much as they can to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, definitely. Hole 2 is a par 3, 270 feet straight ahead. This one's also in the running for most beautiful hole on the property to me. With the way the rock looks, the way the trees look, this is a really good disc golf hole. I feel like the distance in relation to the wideness of the gap is like super fair to where it's challenging but not overly easy.
Right.
Any hole where you can see MJ hit a tree, you know is a challenge.
Sure. And yeah, for 270 feet, there's no weird angle. It's a relatively short distance. You don't see too many holes be ultra challenging at that distance. And this isn't necessarily a super challenging hole,
No.
but it's one that is a must get, and you feel the pain if you don't execute an accurate drive. And pushing the left side of the fairway is Nate Doss, who I'm going to go ahead and say that's a challenger that he's throwing there.
Yeah, I would think you're probably right. Rick also looks to be going with a putter. And he has also found some trees.
So Ricky's 1 OB on hole 1.
Early tree. Whoa.
Now that was unexpected.
Yeah, that's trouble. That's looking like a bogey. MJ going to take a nice easy layup here. Wow. This is Ricky for par. He does go aggressive at it.
And that's fading off. That's a huge letdown there for Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
And, with Nate playing clean golf, just a little bit off there. And that's not necessarily been uncharacteristic for Nate's start. He's gone par, or par to start off his rounds, the first 3 rounds so far, and then finish each round really strong.
Yeah.
So Nate's just kind of feeling the groove a little bit, trying to get into things, but Ricky's going to be tapping in the only bogey for the entire field for the day on this hole.
No way.
There was 1 double bogey, but there was also only 1 bogey.
That is really incredible. You would think just 1 out of bounds would do it.
Yep, and no out of bounds was had on this hole. 25 players birdied it, 25 parred it, and
wow.
Yeah, you don't expect to see that from
I guess
Ricky.
we did have the cut. We should mention we did have the cut. So this is mostly just the cashing players playing now. So maybe that contributes to that change in the statistics.
Going from 125 players to 52 players.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It makes it, but still, you imagine the percentage of the bogeys would be more than that.
Hole 3, 305-foot par 3, OB down the right side, a lot of trees. We're going to see, I'm going to say 4 backhands, likely mid-ranges. These guys are just going to throw a gentle hyzering shot, try to get up this hill and stop before the kind of drop off behind the pin.
You don't think that Cale's going to throw a thumber over the top?
I don't know if he'll go thumber, but...
That thumber's a working man's shot.
It definitely is. That's a perfect shot from Cale into the circle. Looks to be nearly parked.
And MJ's got one of his, I believe this is an ESP comment. And he's pushing the ceiling. It is fading left, and that brings a lot more trees in the way. And MJ's caught a tree about halfway down the fairway.
Nate looks to be a mid.
Yeah, I think it's a glow buzz that he's been throwing. We've seen him park holes all weekend, and there it is with a great tee shot, a nice kick. And he's going to be about 10 feet away or so. And Rick needs to get things going here.
Yeah, he does. Ricky is going a little bit left, though. Yeah, and that's not going to find the green.
And that's going to leave him an extremely dangerous putt. He'll be within putting range for Ricky.
But yeah, an air ball there could go OB.
Yeah, and he's just bogeyed one of the easiest holes in the course in the hole before. I wonder what's going through his head right now.
I mean, I can promise you he's going to run this.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Incredible putt. That's fully 60 feet, OB behind the basket, sloping downhill, and a lot of trees.
That dude's got GPS. That dude has global putter system.
Yeah, he's got that global putter system, dude. It's like, it doesn't matter where he is. He just flips that system on, and the putts are dropping.
Cale gets his just over the rim, dancing in there for his birdie. I'm just going to tap out his par, and we're going to move up to Nate Doss, who has just parked it.
I feel like, Ricky and Nate Doss, both fantastic kind of, just a few per generation type players. But I think those guys are sort of opposites in the way they attack courses, where Nate is like such a thrower and not a bad putter by any stretch.
No, of
but
course
when
not.
Nate when you're getting beat by Nate Doss, you're getting beat by tap-in putts, mostly, because he is just going to be parking shots.
Right.
And Ricky is kind of going to beat you with this barrage, this global putting system just turned up to level 11.
Yeah.
And he's just going to be global putting you to death. So they really, it's kind of cool. Disc golf is a lot of sports are that way, but just all the styles that you can see.
Sure.
As we look at Cale ripping a big hyzer here on hole 4, a 470-foot par 3, elevated green. I got to think this is one of the least birdied holes on the course. We can save the stats. I don't want to be accused of spoiling anything.
No, we'll wait till the hole's over to give the numbers, but it was the third hardest hole on the course of the day, and it really makes you decide whether or not you're going to throw some aggressive run at it. This is going to be the play you're going to see a lot of people.
Yep.
If, at best, they're going to put it 40 feet short and give themselves a long putt at it, and that's really what you want here, just to stay in bounds. If you throw too much hyzer, if you try to play too safe, you can go OB left.
Oh, this is risky.
Or if you...
That is OB, and it's OB quite early. His spot is going to be over 100 feet from the basket.
Yeah, that's a bad break there for Ricky.
And I would think MJ is basically laying up here.
Yeah, this isn't really his type of play. MJ's got plenty of distance, but he's aggressive from the putting standpoint. He just kind of does what you'd think he'd do for these kind of holes where he's not getting too aggressive.
And Rick going for gold. Wow.
Oh, my God.
That is such a long putt.
And he's only off by an inch.
Wow. I think these are the two premier long-range guys in the game.
Yeah.
Is MJ and Rick. I mean, you cannot count them out. From 150, they're making runs at the pin.
And here is a huge bonus birdie opportunity for Nate.
Yeah, this would be big.
And he has missed another putt to start off, but, I mean, that's one of those bonus putt distance range of putts anyways.
Yep.
But 3 players are going to tap in pars. And Ricky, 1 over through 4 holes.
It's pretty shocking.
Incredibly shocking. These first 4 holes on this course are relatively tame compared to a lot of sections of this course.
Yeah.
And if Ricky's that kind of guy that you don't want in the mix if you're leading the tournament coming into the last round.
No.
And he started off slow enough that he's now 5 back, which isn't unobtainable.
No, not at all. But yeah, I mean, to be +1.
Lifetime warranty, and 1% back to the planet. Tempercraft USA. Temper your thirst.
We are back on hole 5 at Fox Run, a downhill par 3 at 445 feet. One of the most treacherous holes on the course. As you can see, AJ doesn't mind. He's dancing again, but that water is right next to the basket.
2.
And you also have OB long, OB
3.
right.
4.
Those are some slow
5
push-ups.
Oh man, I can only dream of animations like that near the green on every flyover drone coverage from the Jomez crew from now on.
Yeah, maybe AJ needs a Patreon account just to get out there and dance before under the drone.
And Cale is, wow, and that's as close as it gets, but I believe his drive is safe.
Yeah.
Getting a break there, that was as close as it gets.
Yeah, the OB long here is really tough. It's the last thing I ever think about, but then when I go OB long on this hole, I'm pretty annoyed because there's so much other trouble.
I need to get down.
I think
Nate has skipped OB, and he is going to be in danger.
Yeah, he skipped OB fairly early.
And that's going to leave him about 50 feet or so for his first bogey of the event, unless he makes a huge putt.
Yeah. You know he knows it, too. He wants to keep that streak alive.
Of course. I mean, that's something I've personally never finished an event bogey-free. I know you've done it plenty of times. But I've finished a tournament, 72-hole tournament, bogeyed the last hole.
Wow. Probably still won.
I actually did win that one. But, man, that's like one of those
another
life goals.
Squeaker there. Barely in bounds, but safe and near the circle 2 line. That is an absolute death putt, though. If Ricky's running that.
There's no more death putt on the course than that putt that Ricky has right now. I mean, he's 65 feet or so, and MJ gives a nice little run there.
He's going to go for this.
Oh, yeah. You know he's going for it.
Wow.
This guy's an animal.
What does a global putting system cost?
It's really expensive.
That's what I heard. That's kind of like prohibitively expensive.
Yeah, like winning the second world title, one was not enough. And there is the first bogey from Nate.
Wow.
But yeah, when you win 2 world titles, then you have to unlock it with 2 world titles first off.
Okay, so
you can't even buy it if you haven't won 2 world titles yet.
All right, noted. Here is Nate to clean up that first bogey. I'm sure that's frustrating for him.
And sometimes I feel like when you have a streak like that going on, and then that streak gets broken, you can lose some of your focus. Because that was kind of the one thing that you were focusing on. Play safe, stay away from obese, and don't take any bogeys.
Yeah. Just
pars and birdies, and he's done obviously a perfect job of that so far.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, hole 6, uphill 290. I don't even know if it plays that far, though. This hole is on an elevated basket, but it's statistically been one of our easiest. We're going to see some forehands from these players and also some turnover putters going up this hill, just trying to stay in bounds. OB is close to the pin, but it's so far right that it somehow doesn't come into play that much.
No, the OB really shouldn't come into play because the hole already is kind of tucked around the tree to the right. So if you go OB right, you really made a mistake. And this hole was the easiest averaging hole on the course through round 1 at 2.39, almost 2.4. And that was one of the easiest percentages we've seen this year.
Yep.
It got even easier when they made the cut.
Oh, I bet.
2.25.
Oh, boy.
This is you have to get this hole at this point.
Yep.
And just a little floating Anheuser shot there from Cale. Nicely done to about 10 feet.
Yeah, well, great. We get the FollowFlight on that beautiful turnover. Look at the background as well. Vermont is a special place.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, I've been here 2 years now. This is the most beautiful spot on tour.
It is very, very nice.
You got the mountains around, and just so many things are going on around this place. It just makes this whole event so special, just for the views alone and what's going on around you.
Yeah. And what do you think? A hole that's coming in averaging 2.25. I mean, does that need to change before the Worlds? I mean, that's borderline for me. That's borderline too easy.
Yeah, I think that for the World Championships, it's not for any course. I think having a softened up hole to make you have the pressure of must birdie this hole adds a different pressure. And MJ continues his fire putter. But I think that it is maybe a bit too easy. But,
yeah.
I mean, I think that the tournament staff is one of the best in the country, and they will look at the numbers. They'll look at the averages.
Definitely. I think ideally, if you've got the statistics, which thanks to David Clancy we do, I don't think you want to see any hole playing more than a half stroke away from its stated par.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, whether it's over or below.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to be able to change that for the next hole because that's going to average a stroke above par almost every time anyways, just because of the out of bounds.
Yeah, and that's coming from, we're talking about some of the top 50 players in the world that are generating this data. But I would like to see, certainly some holes that are averaging half stroke over, but I don't know if you want to go 3/4 of a stroke under.
And the whole card pars hole 6 there with twos.
Yep, nice par twos. And now we are onto a hole that I don't think the whole card will par, but you never know. These guys are playing amazing. Hole 7, 1,275 foot par 5. Slightly downhill is the only respite you get from that incredible distance. The tee shot is the toughest part, I think, because you've got an out-of-bounds ditch between you and the ideal landing zone. So it's certainly the most demanding shot is here from the tee to get into play. And after that, as you can see, really nothing in the way, just a lot of out-of-bounds on both sides.
And Ricky has gone with a nice aggressive play. Getting across that ditch there is a big benefit. It's going to allow him to go pretty easy sidearm to get up down to the basket for his birdie.
Yeah, that is possible. Cale with a bit heavy on the turnover. Is it going to clear?
It needs to stay up. And
it's good.
Oh, wow. Just gets over.
Painting corners.
And that's just about as good as a layup drive.
Yep.
Which doesn't take him out of position for birdie. It's just going to make his second shot and third shot just a bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And MJ has flipped this drive up nicely, and it's pushing the left side of the fairway.
Whoa, Spotter changed his mind.
Spotter's trying to figure it out, and it's green.
It's safe. Great shot.
Wow. And
that's a good place to be over there. He's got all the room to work with for a hyzer backhand coming in on the next shot.
And Nate looks like he is going to be going across the ditch, and he is throwing his Z-force just perfect.
Oh, yeah, this is huge.
Never a doubt, left side or right side, right down the middle of the fairway, furthest of the group. I mean, that's the way that you take it at him, and that's what Nate Thoss said. He said, when you're playing the best players in the world and you're going against an undefeated player out here, how do you maintain that lead? And he said, you just take it to the course.
Yeah. Cale is pushing the right side and gets a great kick.
And I'm starting to see why these guys separated themselves so much.
We can't be bitter now, Germ. We just can't.
Speak for yourself, Nate.
MJ plays a pretty safe low hyzer there. Not biting off too crazy much, but he should be in range to get to the pin.
I'm kind of surprised to see Ricky with the backhand here. The way that the fairway sets up, it just seems like it might be a bit safer for the sidearm, but there is that bulky area there in the fairway that you saw Ricky play a shot to.
Yeah, I think that's what he's thinking there, and just to bite off 50 more feet of distance. And Nate is past that just area, the landing zone. It looks
not
like.
in any danger at all, just playing it flawless through the two shots.
I would think he's 300 or less to the basket.
And yeah, Cale was just out of position to really get too aggressive. I'm sure he wanted to get that one in the air a bit more, but taking a 5 on this hole is really nothing to scoff at.
MJ flattening one up pretty much perfect as we are used to seeing from him. Let's see if he can strike from there.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit short.
Rick puts up a big forehand out wide.
And
a little long.
Given that almost a little bit of a run there for 3. I wonder if that's going through his mind at all. I mean, how much does he have to get hyper aggressive at this point?
I don't think, not that much.
Yeah.
In my estimation, but you never know.
And Nate also that's how you pay off the perfect 2-shot setup there with a great chip approach with his forehand force, and he's going to be left with about 15 feet for his awesome birdie.
Cale also gliding in a little long with his putter.
And hitting that rock wall. That rock wall is actually safe if they land on the other side of it. Not sure whether or not they're going to put the basket behind that rock wall next year for Worlds. Don't really think you need to change this hole that much.
Probably not. I do feel that the subtle downhill nature of this hole kind of comes into play most on that final shot, and I think that's why we see some of these shots glide in a little longer than the players think. Because you look at the basket, you go, that's really far. But then that little bit of downhill is just going to take your disc and carry it back there to the wall.
And Cale has missed his par putt. Ricky has not missed his birdie putt.
Great birdie.
GPS has striked again. There were only 8 birdies for the day out of the 52 players.
Wow.
Which is about the same percentage as we saw last round with the full field. About 15% of the field birdie this hole. But the interesting stat after round 1 was that there was more double bogeys than there were bogeys. Not that way after the cut, but there were quadruple bogey 9s. There were multiple triple bogey 8s, several double bogeys. Wow. So that's what makes that hole so scary is, one bad shot, and Cale wasn't even out of bounds one time.
Yeah.
And he got a bogey.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Well, we've got another very tough hole queued up here. Hole 8 is a uphill par 4 at 675, but it plays much longer, I think. You got this snaking fairway all the way up to a very, very tight green. We're going to see some big turnovers out of these guys off the tee, and then let's see if anybody's feeling aggressive enough to test the green. I would think they are.
Yeah, this is one player who would be very aggressive in going for that. He's going to leave nothing behind today, and
this is a big drive.
This is how you set up the birdie on this hole. He's thrown a great turnover.
Wow. Yeah, that looked to have gotten way around the corner.
Mm-hmm. The fairway really opens up to the right side. Once you get around this corner, if you can keep your disc turning like you see Nate has here with his force, that opens up the bulk of the fairway, and that's also a crush drive.
Those are fantastic, both of those shots. Mid-range?
Yeah, this is a Comet.
So I gotta think he's thinking 4.
Yeah, this is maybe a little bit more out of MJ's range from what he really wants to do.
Yeah.
I'm sure his game plan is similar to Nate's. Just keep it in balance throughout the event as much as possible.
And another mid-range.
And Cale's another one of those guys who throws his M4 is just so silky smooth, just long turnovers, and he can get away with not having a forehand shot with the way that he throws those mid-range turnovers.
Yeah. So these guys are going to play for the second landing zone, and then they'll have probably 100 feet left to the pin.
Mm-hmm.
I would think from where the mid-range is going to land you. Not really much opportunity to go for the green, I wouldn't think. Yeah, not on that angle. You're going to be playing for a layup there. Well done, though. And now I think we're going to move up and see a couple plays for birdie.
This hole it's just so sneaky uphill the whole way. And this approach, the basket doesn't look that far away, but
this is in danger. No, it isn't.
No,
I thought that looked like too much hyzer, but what do I know? That is fantastic in the circle.
And that's an old Z Predator that he's been throwing for probably a dozen years or so.
Yeah. And look at that. Wow. I guess I need to start throwing a huge backhand turnover that just floats over the tree around the corner and goes like 90 feet past where my forehand lands.
Yeah, that's the only way you can birdie this hole. You can't bite off enough distance off the tee with a forehand approach, I don't think. It has to be a big turnover.
I agree.
And that second shot, I mean, Ricky made that forehand distance look easy, but I tell you, it's anything but that.
Yeah, that was big, even still, yeah. Over 300 easily.
Yeah, and uphill. MJ keeping things rolling with that hot putter there, taps in his par. And we're going to come to one of the rare birdie putts for Nate. And
Nate is in.
That's a huge birdie to get. When you're leading the tournament and you're birdieing holes like this, you're making things really difficult on everyone else.
And Ricky also birdies. And I said before this event, we're going to see if I get proven wrong here, but I was saying that the turkey of 7, 8, 9 is heroes only. Like,
okay.
I was predicting it wouldn't be done. But we've got 2 players in the hunt right now. If they can birdie this next hole, I mean, these are all top 5 difficulty holes by our stats. Mm-hmm. So to birdie 3 holes in a row, this treacherous, I mean, I hope I see it, but I did not think anyone would be able to do it.
I think the chances are pretty great at this point. And it's worth noting that the last hole was birdied twice as many times with a third of the field size as it was through round 1.
It's this final day of the tournament. It's time to go for it.
Yeah, there were 8 birdies, which is still only 15% of the field. But, there were only 4 birdies the first round on hole 8.
Wow. We're going 435 feet downhill here. Very, very straight. Ricky's just going to go ahead and park it and just make... Okay, there we go. He hits a tree, so we still do have a bit of drama on whether that turkey will be attained.
Yeah.
Drama may not last long, though, because I think Nate Doss is dialed in. This looks like it's tracking right for the pin.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think we can probably...
I'm going to count him in. I'm going to say he's going to make that.
It's looking very good. That was a fantastic drive. And like I said, I mean, I cannot really overstate how incredible it is to come in and go birdie, birdie, birdie.
Yeah, and so what he parred hole 1, and he parred hole 2, or did he get hole 2? I think
He missed his putt.
He missed his putt on hole 2. He parred hole 3, I believe.
No, birdie.
He parked hole 3. Okay, so he parred hole 1 and 2, which are 2 really easy holes relative to the way the course plays. But then he comes back with these 3. I mean, it doesn't matter where you get the birdies as long as you get them.
I would say you've gotten all of it back and more with this stretch, as far as terms of how much you're gaining relative to your competitors.
Sure.
3 birdies here is gaining easily 2 strokes.
3 strokes
on the average player.
Yeah.
Probably 3. And when I say average player, I'm talking about me. You know,
What are you saying about yourself?
he's gaining 5 on me, is what I'm saying.
And nice little putter approach there. And Ricky again is thinking, how can I be a hero? Oh, and almost does achieve hero status, although he's still one of my heroes.
Yeah, I'll still give him status, but holy cow. Easy.
Sorcerer.
He's so nonchalant, and I love it.
His invisible wizard staff. He's just marching
It's
through
hard to
this
say
place.
where it is. It's invisible.
All right, come on, Nate, be a hero.
Beautiful, man. That
Yes.
is so awesome.
What a turkey there to finish out the front 9.
Oh, he knows it too. That is great.
And as you said, that's the 5th hardest hole. It was the 3rd hardest hole last year. Actually, I take that back. It was the 3rd hardest hole this year.
So is it the first, second, and third hardest holes?
First, second, and 3rd hardest holes in the course, back to back to
birdie,
back.
birdie, birdie.
Yeah, that's
Incredible.
Yeah, really impressive there from Nate.
All right, well, that concludes the front 9. Nate Doss has opened up a 4-shot lead over MJ and Ricky, and Cale is right there, just 1 more behind that. Thank you guys for tuning in and joining us. Thank you to JomezPro. Thank you to the PDGA, Discraft, Smuggler's Notch, Fancy Dave Clancy, and Jeremy Koling. We will catch you guys for the Pack 9.